Hello and welcome to Battle 1 of Shining Force 2, the Goliath Hack. This is a hack I've been working on over the last couple years, kind of on and off, using some tools from Shining Force Central. And I've been pretty happy with it thus far, and since I've been playing through it so much for testing purposes, I thought I would do a playthrough and share my thoughts about everything with anyone who's interested. Which is hopefully more than just me. We'll see. So, this is the first battle of Shining Force 2. There isn't a whole lot changed between this battle and in the original, and this battle in the Goliath Hack. But there are some important differences. Probably one of the most important is Bowie's weapon. All the stats, I should say this first, all of the stats for all the different characters and monsters actually start identical as they do, identical to the original. And so all of their level 1 stats are the same. And all of the Gizmos are exactly the same as they would be on super difficulty, so they have that much attack, but otherwise they are the same. But otherwise, then the equipment for Sarah and the equipment for Chester also remains the same. So it's almost like a mirror battle, but there are a few key differences. And as I said, probably the most important is Bowie's sword. One of my attempts in this game was to space out the weapons better than the original did. And that caused me not to give a sword upgrade to Bowie after the first battle, which therefore meant that his starting wooden sword needed to have +4 attack rather than conventional +3, just to try to give him a little better longevity, because the next level weapons all have +5, so he's only going to be 1 down rather than 2 down. But that means he is 1 better on the first battle. Now, from a story standpoint, I actually really like that. It kind of makes Bowie the toughest, strongest, most attack-based fighter on the team. He does the most damage, and kind of rush to someone's aid and easily take out whatever is following them. And I kind of equate that sort of with Max. Like, I've always really loved Bowie from Shining Force 2, but I've noticed a lot of people really kind of think he's a dumb leader or a dumb hero, and that Max is so much better. But the thing is, Bowie in Shining Force 2 is really a defensive beast. He's tons of HP, lots of defense. Can he equip the White Ring, which gives him even more defense? He just doesn't die very easily, which is really nice for a hero. Whereas Max was just offense, 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 offense. He was essentially the Peter of Shining Force 1, and to add to that, he had unlimited use of Freeze level 3. Which, while not a brilliant spell, is a pretty decent one. And so people tend to really relate well with that. And I just thought, you know what? What happens if Bowie started that same way? He's this group of friends. They're all just random kids. There isn't really a natural leader. In fact, Sarah, in many ways, acts as the natural leader, really taking command, making suggestions on where they should be going, how do they get into the castle and everything like that. And so why in the world is Bowie the one who they all look up to? And this is kind of why. He's just stronger, essentially, than the rest of them. Now, in this case, it happens to be because his weapon is better than the rest of them, but we're kind of going to be ignoring that fact. The idea simply is that you have a group of 3 friends, and who's the strongest guy? It's Bowie. But there are some logistics problems with this, because if the Gizmos fall on a 0% land effect tile, that is either the stairs or the statues, which isn't uncommon, they can be killed in 1 attack by Bowie. And that's not exactly desirable. But ultimately I'm okay with it. I looked a little bit into trying to stop it, to prevent it, giving Gizmos, for instance, 6 HP, but I didn't really like the whole 6 HP thing. Technically speaking, it makes almost no difference. The only difference 6 HP versus 5 would do is that if Sarah and Chester attacked at the same time, 5 HP would die and a 6 wouldn't. But I kind of take the 5 HP can be one-hit killed by Bowie. It's something more unique and special about the battle, and something that has to be controlled. You just have to understand how you need to fight the battle, time attacks better, and everything like that, to make sure that you can kind of maximize for experience, or you just kind of sit back and say, I'm not going to get it. And the other thing about it is, by having the extra attack from Bowie, it is a slightly easier battle. If I made them 6 HP, then not really. It doesn't really change the ease of the battle. This way it does. And I thought that was actually kind of valuable, because the original battle, this Gizmo battle in Shining Force 2, I actually found very, very difficult. Now, people who've played the game a lot find it not very difficult at all. They all know all the tricks and everything. And I've played a lot of other hacks people have made, and I find this first one always absolutely insane. You have to hide on, like a 30% line effect square off of these stairs, on the lower level, way over on the lower left. Because if you go the upper right on the 30% square, which is the little cracked tile, that doesn't help you at all. You're going to die there easily. But you have to go to the lower left one. Otherwise, it's just, not going to work. And then you're going to have to know how to aggro all of the monsters to make sure they come to you correctly at the right time so you don't get overwhelmed, and meticulously time your heals, and you still may lose a character in it. And that's not the first battle of the game, that's like the last battle of the game, where you have to micromanage every single move, and a single mistake can kill you. Now, you can do that early on, because you only have 3 characters, 6 monsters, and a very small setting with known variables that you're very familiar with, but this isn't supposed to be designed as a game for someone who's played Shining Force 2 80 million times. This is something that, I wanted essentially newer players to be able to experience. In light of this, too, I made 2 other adjustments to the battle workings, and that is with the Gizmo AI. I made them slightly less aggressive. If I can't hide behind those 2 statues in the upper level, like, the problem with hiding in the lower left corner is it takes forever for the battle to finish. It's just not very enjoyable. And because especially this one is relatively simple, you really want to push farther forward. But going in front of the statues has always posed a little bit of a problem, because they tend to swarm you pretty hard. And on super difficulty, you know what, most of the time you're going to be able to survive just fine and everything like that. But for the first battle, I don't want any of that extra little, challenge or anything like that. I'm really not looking forward to that. And so what I did is I moved the area on which the Gizmos attack back 1 square. It allows you a little bit more maneuverability in front of the statues, so you don't have to hide behind the statues to prevent the Gizmos from swarming you and attacking you. The other thing I did, you'll notice this one Gizmo up top now doesn't want to move, and it's just a simple AI code that says basically don't move until someone gets in range. And I chose that just to try to get people to walk up these stairs. It has really no other dealings. It helps a little bit with the swarming, but really, at the end, with everything else I've done, I don't think the swarming is an issue anymore. I wanted to make something different about this fight, and just have people run up to the top. And that's it. That's all I wanted to do. Very simple, very straightforward. Hopefully it doesn't annoy me later, because it is kind of annoying and it's kind of dumb. The nice thing about the original is you never got next to Sir Astral, you never got next to the, I'm guessing that's a Misty that he's trying to stop. You never got next to either of those things. And so that's just kind of the way I wanted it. As a quick question, you ask, okay, so how do you know it's a Mist Demon and not a Dark Smoke? Because we kind of always assume they're a Dark Smoke, especially since they're the bosses. I changed the coloring of the Dark Smokes to, well, non-pink. And this one's still pink, so it's obviously grabbing the sprite from the Mist Demon, not from the Dark Smoke. Whether that was the intention from, Camelot and Sega, I have no idea. But that's what I'm kind of taking away from it here. So one thing I forgot to say earlier, because I got sidetracked talking about other people's hacks, which are on the whole wonderful, by the way, I just don't like their first battle renditions, was exactly why I thought the original Shining Force 2's Battle 1 was too difficult. And that really came from my experience as a child playing these games, a decade ago. I played Shining Force 2 almost exclusively, and really struggled on the first battle. Never could beat it in the first try. I thought, honestly, that was impossible. And, but then I played Shining Force 1, after struggling so much with Shining Force 2's first battle, and beat it easily. Didn't lose a guy, was never in any difficulty or trouble, just breezed through it. And that was the way a first battle should be. And that was not the way the first battle in Shining Force 2 was. And so that's really what I wanted to correct. I wanted to make it, you know, more of a walk in the park, a little more easily. It's still difficult, but it's beatable. So there's the first battle of Shining Force 2, the Goliath Hack. I hope you guys join me next time.